WICR.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and last segment we touched on the MAC championship and NCAA tournament, and some more. Basically, Division I colleges have been in the news a lot recently, and I guess this one's in a negative light. Now we're going to talk about the Syracuse men's basketball program. So, Bill, let me hear your first thoughts on this.
Well, I think that.
Well, actually, no. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Before we start, let me just refresh people on what it was. So, Jim Boeheim, he is getting suspended for 9 ACC games, and he had 12. This program got 12 scholarships taken away, and the NCAA vacated 108 of his 966 wins, which involves ineligible basketball players between years of 2004-2007, as well as 2010 and 2012. It also involves academic misconduct, failure to follow NCAA drug policy, and improper benefits. So, what are your thoughts on this, Bill? Let me hear your first thoughts.
I think, Rob, that this punishment was not too harsh, and it wasn't.
I actually agree with you on that one.
Wasn't too lenient. I know that if you listen to the last segment, that I might come off as I'm in favor of paying college athletes, but that's not the case. I think that we're already giving them enough with scholarships and the opportunity to go further their lives by pursuing academics. I think that's a way of giving them what they deserve. So I don't think that you have to really go break the rules and allow them to go receive monetary benefits, because if they want to go do that, they can skip college and stop making a joke out of it, and they can go play overseas after high school, or they can wait a year, then go to the NBA. I think that Jim Boeheim, he really disrespected the whole academic culture of college, by making the players into something that they aren't. And really,
he turned it into a factory.
Yeah,
of players.
Yeah, and Jim Boeheim.
And like I mentioned earlier segment, their players are humans. They want to go, they want to play. Some of them they will focus and want to win. Some want to have fun. That's just how it is. And he basically turned it into like a pipeline.
Well, not only that, because in the last segment, what I did is, I argued that, and of course I agree that people should enjoy the game, but also when it has an impact on other people at the institution, that they should really be focusing on winning.
Yeah, definitely.
What Jim Boeheim did is Jim Boeheim took it to an extra level. Not only did he want them to focus on winning, but Jim Boeheim said that, here, I'm going to force you to win. And I'm going to force you to go take these benefits and everything to go win. And he took the human aspect out of it. And instead of really being a coach and a mentor to the players, he made he made that role into really being an enabler for them and for whatever. And with the drug policy, when you're a coach and you're looking over players at an important time and a crux in their life, so to speak, you really gotta look out for them. And it's not just about winning games, although I'm really in favor of that. It's really about winning a life. And drugs is one of the biggest things that you really have a difficult time coming back from in life. And you can come back from alcohol and being an alcoholic, and you could come back from wherever. But drugs, if you're on the cocaine or whatever, we saw with people like Darryl Strawberry and other people, and those people, they had the opportunities because they were rich to go come back, but they were never the same. And so these players, when you are enabling them to go abuse themselves and their bodies, a precious gift, I think that's just disgusting, and there's no place for you in sports, and especially not near any children.
I mean,
because that's ultimately what college students are. They're still youth.
All right, so I agree with you on pretty much everything you said.
Thanks, Rob.
The only issue I have with this is when they say improper benefits. I probably should look a little deeper, but they say improper benefits. Now, depending on who's talking, that can mean different things. If they're receiving money, then yes, that's improper benefits. They're receiving a check. But, if someone, gives them, like, something to eat, I don't really think that's necessarily improper. Because remember, they're college kids.
Correct.
These college kids, we don't have, a lot of money. It's hard to get jobs out here. And, if they're just receiving, like, something to eat or some clothes or something, I don't really consider that improper. That's just charity in a certain way. But if they're just receiving money, then no.
Exactly.
Unless it's obviously from a job, that's a little different. But I feel like this punishment, I feel like it's fair. It's not too lenient.
It's a fair punishment.
The only thing that could have been worse really would have been the death penalty.
Yeah, and
it just wasn't that bad. The death penalty,
I watched the ESPN 30th for 30 special about
Pony Excess.
Yeah, about SMU and the Mustangs over there. You really see what the death penalty can do to a school, not just the team, but really the whole institution. And really, a lot of people over here in the Northeast, if you say SMU to them, if they're not a big fan of sports, they don't know what SMU is.
Yeah, they don't know Southern Methodist, So.
No, but, a while back, 40 years ago, whatever, if you said SMU, people throughout the nation, they knew what SMU was.
Eric Dickerson was on that team.
Exactly. Mm. So, again, that just points to the importance, like in last segment, about the success of ultimately an athletic program on an institution. But Rob, you take it from here, brother.
Well, it's still something about the Jim Boeheim situation. I think, like I said before, it's fair. Taking away 108 wins, that's actually, I think that right there is good enough, because Jim Boeheim went from being the second winningest coach of all time. He was about 33? No, 23. No, 33. Excuse me. I'm not really good at math. 33 wins away from reaching 1,000, and now he's 6th on the all-time list. So that right there. I mean, the same thing happened with Penn State 2 or 3 years ago. Obviously that was a whole different case. This right here is something that you typically see in college. It happened to the Miami football team, happened to USC, happened to Ohio State, but the one that happened to Penn State, that was just crime in itself.
Well, Penn State, Penn State was
that was just disgusting.
That wasn't just a crime. That was an atrocity against humanity.
Definitely.
But you have Jerry Sandusky raping little boys, and you have Joe Paterno going along with it. And Joe, he put up this image in this video of being this nice grandfatherly coach, really out there. But he knew the entire thing going along, and he was unethical and corrupt. And he was he proved to be one of those people that you think you ultimately trust, but you ultimately are unable to trust, and it really led to the suspicion of really people in amateur sports, and we see it down to the roots. I mean, I remember when I was younger, and this has to do with the Jerry Sandusky story, but one of my t-ball coaches, he went to prison ultimately for having sexual activities with another guy in a person's backyard. And and he was a principal of a school, and whatever your belief is on the issue of gay rights and everything, and the issue of activities like that outside of marriage, when you're doing that, and you're coaching young children, and you're doing it in public, and in someone's backyard, that in and of itself is an atrocity and something that you just aren't able to tolerate. And just like Jerry Sandusky deserved to be fined and ultimately criminalized. So
Jim Boeheim just thought he was above the rules.
That's
really what this was.
That too often we see that at all levels of sports, and that's unfortunate. And the good thing is we don't see that in professional sports, actually, because I think
don't see it up front.
And I think that I think that if you really look at professional sports, unfortunately, and it might be a little bit of a paradox to say this, but I think professional sports might actually be the cleanest of all of them in environment, because it's really based on merit. Whereas in college and everything, like we saw here, you have all these favors, and you have all these people taking advantage of youth and children, and it's just a disgust.
Not only does this ruin the integrity of the NCAA, which it's been ruined multiple times, it ruins the integrity of just college in general.
Exactly.
And now I'm going to touch up a little bit on a topic that's been going around the news for the past 2 days that's ruining the integrity of a college.
Amen.
Down at the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah, Rob.
The SAE, I forgot what it means. It's a Greek fraternity. And they were doing this little chant. It was a video of doing an extremely racist, bigoted chant towards African Americans. The video, I didn't see it because I just read what was said, and it was just appalling that a higher institution would still think in such an ignorant manner. And I bring this up even though it's a sports show because a lot of the Oklahoma football players and head coach Bob Stoops, he actually protested with the students on campus, and I found that to be pretty noble. And also, a 4-star recruit from high school, I don't remember which high school, he was gonna go to Oklahoma. Then obviously the story came out, and he decided to decommit. He didn't say that it was because of this, but he said because of personal reasons. But I'm pretty sure it has to do with this. So, it's a college campus. We live in a day and age where people from all around the world can all go to college and all go to the same college. And I found there's just no tolerance of that. And luckily, the fraternity ceased and desist, completely.
Rob, it's really great that you touched on that point. And I know even here that at Iona College, our friend Josh, he thought about joining a fraternity, and he ultimately did. And it was for one day, and he saw that just wasn't the right fit. And
school. Nothing wrong with fraternities. Don't get me
wrong. No. But there are definitely certain fraternities. They say they're for charity and everything. But like Josh, they said that this fraternity was all about doing good, when really, at the end of the day, all they were doing is doing harm to themselves and others. They were just party animals. And Josh did the right thing. He left. And,
I don't think you see that as much at Iona. But
well, hold on. But, when you have school officials signing off on supporting the program, and they ultimately did that here for Josh, and they did that at OSU, I think that when you look at education in general, especially at the higher level, the school has to have a tighter hold, so to speak, on really the activities taking place on its campus. Because it's not just about the classroom where you really learn. It's about outside the classroom. And
experience.
And experience is vital to success. And, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have wisdom, you're just doomed to fail, because life isn't just a test on paper. It's a test of the heart, the mind, and the soul. And, you just like radio, you can learn whatever you want in class. But if you aren't here talking in front of the mic,
you'll never learn how to do it.
You won't know how to do it.
So on that note, thank you all for listening. I am Robert Bob Baez.
And I'm Bill Maloney. Thank you for everyone, and thank you for everyone that's watching that I know today.
And enjoy spring break. We will be back in 2 weeks.
God bless you and yours.